I think because most of the socials I go to, you're there. So I don't really pay attention to like, oh, what is it like without the subwoofer?
And you know what? I don't think a lot of people pay attention to a lot of things.
Yes.
Other than whether or not it's traditional or
Yeah, we
urban.
just pay attention when the music stops.
Yeah.
And you have technical difficulties.
It's either, or that.
And then they notice you, finally.
Either that, it's, okay, it's bachata or salsa.
Yeah.
Most people, that's how they figure it out, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, okay. When's the bachata set coming up? When's the salsa set starting?
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty much it. People just go with it like, oh, well, I don't like this song or I like this song, you know? And then you got the people that just go gung-ho and they're like, every song they're dancing. The only time they're taking a break is when they're like getting that water break. You know, just sitting down.
Yeah. Shout out to those people. Cause
they're hardcore.
Yeah, we need those people.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I started. I remember my goal was to never be off the dance floor. So I started learning salsa too, and cumbias and merengue and all these other forms of dance that just kept me on the floor because I love to dance.
That should be the goal though.
Yeah. Still the goal. The goal. I got so much to learn still. You know what I mean? Not only DJing as a dancer too. Yeah. So I'm just growing like all the time.
Yeah.
You can start off the intro. Yeah. Get the mic.
Cool. So we're back with the new Sauceros pod, and today we got DJ Rube with us.
DJ Bug Rube.
Oh, DJ Bug Rube. Sorry. And then we got Will over here, Jose, and then myself, Antonio. But yeah, we'll start it off, and we just wanted to mainly we can start off with your background. How about that? Does that sound good with you? Sure. Just your personal background and also like your background as a DJ, because I know you started off originally in Yuma, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then from there you went to, but you started talking about Bachatito, right? Or am I tripping?
DJ FNF.
DJ FNF, yeah. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, sorry. Tell us about your background and what it is that you do and how you started.
Yeah, so definitely started in Yuma. I started off. What got me motivated was just getting out of my comfort zone. Kind of just coming out of that shell, you know. I think most people start that way, you know what I mean? Who doesn't? I mean, how many people automatically have that self-confidence, you know what I mean? So a big part of, the gym life, all that kind of stuff at the time was getting out of that comfort zone. So I started a class and I was like, I saw it on Facebook one day. I was just scrolling. I was like, hey, bachata classes on this day during the week. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. Just try something different, right? And that's how it started. I think it was back in, I want to say 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. And started taking classes in Yuma at 2 different studios. Ended up starting off from bachata, then I incorporated salsa at another studio. And kind of that's the second studio is where I made my connection here to Phoenix, because we would come and travel out here for the socials back in about, I think like 2019 is when we started coming out here. Is where I made the connection with Lawrence and Eddie, and then Bachadicto, DJ FNF.
Sorry. Yeah. They're 2 different people, right?
So Bachadicto is DJ FNF.
Okay. All right. I was tripping. I was like, damn, I completely said the wrong thing. Okay.
So I came out here, made that connection, and then I would stay with FNF, and I was like, this is cool. Like I love the socials out here. He got me into the remixes, kind of just showing me the music, and then experience it at the socials, coming out here and testing out my moves with our community out here in Phoenix, and I had been coming out here for a while, and one day he's like, dude, why don't you DJ? And I was like, maybe I will. And I just started thinking about it more and more, and then thinking about it became, hey, you know what? My first piece of equipment, my first speaker, and then, learning the music, learning about the music, learning all the different styles. What really got me was the remixes, though. I was just like, man, this is dope. I didn't even know bachata could be this way, with the remixes. And that's what got me excited about it. So FNF was just like, yeah, he mentored me. And then I would help him out going to the gigs, and we would set up. I would learn how all the cables go to each speaker, and which at first was just like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's just so much. You're literally putting together a puzzle every single time. And before you know it, I mean, I knew how to connect the system. Then it went from learning how to connect the system to learning how he plays his set during the night. You know, 2 salsas, 3 salsas, 2 bachatas, you know, the 50-60 or the 60-40, you know, 50-50 split on the songs all night, learning that, you know, how he plays the songs, and just the vibe, everything that's incorporated into it. So I took that, and then learned all this stuff, started investing in equipment, and then COVID hit. Boom. I literally picked up my last piece of equipment the week before we went into quarantine. So I was excited to roll out this carpet, right, and get it going. And like, I was like, oh man, our socials in Yuma are gonna be off the chain. Couldn't wait, so excited. And boom, we're going to quarantine. Everybody's locked down. So what do we do, right?
So, sorry, for reference, and you started, so you said 2015 was when you started dancing, right?
2015, probably 2016, I think is the right year.
And then you started like DJing then around like 2018, 20...
So I didn't start DJing up, like I said, I didn't buy my last piece of equipment until right before we went into the pandemic. So that was right at the beginning of 2020, actually.
Right.
So I went a span where I stopped dancing, and then I kind of started back up and got into it.
Oh, okay.
So 2016, I danced for a few, I want to say a few years off and on within that time frame, going to classes here and there, picked it up, took a break, and then I got back into it in 2019.
Oh, okay, so then...
And then 2019, I was taking classes, bachata, salsa, learning cumbia, and then we go into 2020, kind of in that transition, and that's when I'm starting to really get into it, coming out here to socials, going back over there, and kind of just having that mindset, like, you know, I'm gonna get this going. You know, the mentoring out here, taking classes with Lawrence and Eddie and all the artists that they always would bring in too, and then kind of incorporated it back into Yuma. So again, COVID hit, boom, bought my last piece of equipment, and literally the next week I was like, man, like we're in quarantine right now. But honestly, I didn't really think of the DJing too much because it was just like COVID was such a concern for everybody. It's just like what the heck, you know what I mean? Like, who cares about DJing at this point in time? Like, I just want to live, you know what I mean? We're all just trying to survive at this point. I was just like, so I would practice. I literally had my whole DJ setup in my living room, and I was just practicing because at the time too, when we went into quarantine, I was working from home. They sent us all home, and we're just working from home. So like on my breaks, when I wasn't working and everything, I was setting up equipment, getting ready, and then when I was done with my work for the day, I was practicing. Boom, practice. Practicing my transitions, practicing my fading, practicing just different techniques that you can just, whatever I could learn off of YouTube at the time and off the internet, which everybody was doing, you know what I mean? We're all at home, everybody's using Wi-Fi, and just learning as much as I could. And then I would reach out I had a few mentors there in Yuma too. Of course, there was socials before me in Yuma, so I reached out to KM7, and is the DJ out there in Yuma that was mentoring me, and he was just giving me like little tips and like little things. Like I remember at my first time that I set up, it wasn't playing, and it was just one simple little button on my controller, and I was like, hey bro, like what's this? And I just sent him a picture, and he was always really good about responding right away to me, which came in like key to have one of those mentors like that, because there was gigs where I was just like, phew, I was sweating because I was having technical difficulties during my gig, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to fix this. Boom, send a picture. Oh, bro, it's just this, and he sends me a message right back. Problem fixed. So it's good to have people like that in your corner that can back you up, because a lot of it, or all of it, to this point, it's mostly been by myself. You know, I haven't had anybody by my side kind of just walking me through it, other than FNF and what I learned from him while he was mentoring me. But after that, I mean, when I hit the scene and I started DJing, of course, socials, and I started doing weddings and all these other events, solo. So
you're kind of like self-taught. Like, what would you say, like the percentage be, like 60% self-taught and like 40% like mentor, or?
I would say would say 50-50.
50-50?
50-50 is fair. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of mentoring, you know what I mean? I put that time into. There's another DJ that I also had as a mentor out there was R7. KM7 and R7, those two DJs there in Yuma. So I would lean on those two guys, R7 too. He helped me out a lot with the more of like the wedding scene, that kind of scene where creating that kind of vibe and the professionalism that needs to be presented at those type of events, and it just like completely opens up a whole different game too. And then learning all that information and everything I got from R7 kind of gave me some different and new ideas to incorporate into my events for the socials too, you know what I mean? So like it was a good balance of different things that just kind of just helped me out.
So what are like from different gigs, first of all, what are your favorite gigs? And then you mentioned that you've incorporated different things from different gigs to the socials. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so of course my favorite gigs are socials. That's why I started. That's why I started, and you know I branched off and started doing all these other private events because people were like, "Hey, can you DJ?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can." So I was like, "Okay," you know, started doing them. I've always had a good feel for music my entire life. You know, I actually posted something, one of my stories the other day. My cousin tagged me in it, and it was like your grandma, you know, singing ding 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 ding, because you know back in the day, it was like a sign of love. You know, your grandma's playing with you, you're a little kid, and she's bouncing you on her knees. You know what I mean? And you're dancing, little goofy kid dancing away. You know what I mean? We had those great memories growing up, and that musicality. Sorry, I got sidetracked here thinking about that.
No, it's good.
It was dope though. You know, dancing has been a big part of my life. Yeah, just thinking of my grandma, man. She passed away a few years ago. And that's kind of why I hold strong to it. The whole dancing, you know, she incorporated that into our family. My whole family dances. We love dancing all together in our gatherings and stuff.
Was she a dancer too? Or
My grandma?
Yeah.
You know, she was a kitchen dancer, man. You know what I mean? But she would get out there at our functions too, and she'd be dancing too.
That counts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah,
That's cool, man.
you know, we remember as kids, you know, her growing up, and we'd always be in the kitchen, and chilling with grandma, Wanana, Big Mama, we call her, and she'd pick us up and start dancing. You know, Spanish music, you know, a lot of at the time. Tex-Mex, a lot of Tex-Mex style music.
Like cumbia stuff?
Yeah, cumbias too, but a lot of Tex-Mex. A lot of Tex-Mex.
What's Tex-Mex? Sorry,
So exactly what it sounds like. So it's a mixture of Texas, Mexican, like a fusion, right? It's Tex-Mex music. Kind of sounds similar to, because it's not like corridos, it's not like banda. And it's more romantic. It's definitely more romantic. But it's not cumbias and it's not corridos.
Is it also like country kind of feel?
I guess that would be, more of, and that's where that Tex-Mex kind of comes into it, where it gives that more of a country kind of vibe to it. Right. But it's, definitely different. And all of them, you know what I mean? They're all very, very different. As much as they kind of sound the same just because they're speaking Spanish, but bachata to corridos is just completely different too, you know what I mean? Yeah, right. Even though they're speaking Spanish. But it's just dope. And that's what we grew up on. I mean, still to this day, that's what my family loves. I listen to it occasionally, but nowadays, bachata and salsa, I'm like, it's always on my ear, always on my radio, always listening to it, always on my headphones, trying to just catch that vibe for the next gig too, you know what I mean? I got sidetracked with the other question.
No, that's all good. I mean,
do you have a favorite Tex-Mex song or artist? I'm curious.
I'm trying to think. Who's my favorite? I mean, like a famous one, I would say that probably mostly everybody's familiar with, and it kind of falls into corridos, is Ramon Ayala. kind of has some songs that fall into that Tex-Mex vibe, and it's like highly popular within, you know, the Hispanic culture. Ramon is super famous. But yeah, think of songs like that he's played. Un rinconcito en el cielo is like a famous song of his, and just like when I think about it, it's just like, oh, my family, boom. I could play that song and everybody's gonna be like, oh, you know. Right. But yeah, Ramon Ayala definitely. And there's something, he's older. I'm trying to think of more of a newer one. Even the newer ones would be old, especially probably for you guys, you youngsters. But yeah, you know, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
It's all good.
Yeah,
Let's go back to. Oh man, I don't remember my question.
No. I mean, we're just kind of going through it, and I mean, like, it's just mostly to have conversation.
Oh yeah, I remember. So
get to know you. I mean, like, that's mainly what when we started. Like that's what I always wanted. What we always thought about, like, you know, getting to know you. I mean, it's cool to know that, like, your influence is not just like, oh, like you come from like Mexican family, and it's like, but then you're playing like bachata, salsa. It's like talking about Dominican, Cuba, and Puerto Rico that have nothing to do with you, but it's like, or not nothing to do with, not with you, but with your family, right. And like our history. But I think it's really cool that, like, we still share within all that.
Yeah,
so,
getting the more intimate side of you and the context I think is important, because it gives a more like a personal side versus like, oh, he's just a DJ and that's all he does. And, like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
It gives you
like,
more character.
It's not like you're gonna be at a social and you're gonna just like, oh yeah, my abuelita, like, you know. That's really cool though. Damn, that's dope. Good to know. I mean, like, that you have influence from like your family. It's not like you just kind of like are doing it for like monies or anything like that. You have like a certain like love for the music and for the art. Yeah. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. You also mentioned a lot like the love from the people, from the community. I think you mentioned that that connection you had with dance, like that you dance a lot because of your family, like you guys did it. I think you have like that same love that you felt with your family, just enjoying and like listening to music and dancing. It sounds like that's kind of like what you find, or it sounds like you kind of like you find it in the community. Would you say that?
Yeah, definitely. And that's a good way to think about it, because I mean, you make that connection with everybody, and it's just like, I think it was just last week we were at Barcoa, and I was just like, man, I love this. Like, I love this. I feed off of everybody's energy that's there. I'm just like, this is dope. This is dope. And you know what I mean? When people are like, Rube, like, that's when I played one of their favorite songs and I hit them with another of their favorite songs, and they're just like, bro, like, like, thank you. You know what I mean? And it's just like, heck yeah, I love this. Thank you. You know what I mean? I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah. Like, that's the best part of it, I think. You know what I mean? Just that connection as a DJ to the dancer, you know what I mean? Is just, you know, other than actually being out there on the dance floor and dancing yourself, that's how I connect with you guys out there. You know what I mean? That feeling, that emotion right there, where everybody's just like that was fire, and everybody's like sweating their ass off, and they're just like, hell yeah, like that was dope. And you have to go take a break, because you can't get off the dance floor unless you go get those tacos that are outside. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. And it's like that's why I do it. You know what I mean?
I had a question here, talking about like kind of like the DJ point of view on your side, but I guess I also find it interesting because you don't. When I'm talking to you right now, like, it doesn't sound like you're a DJ. It sounds like you're like a dancer more than like, or not like a dancer fully, but it's like you're not like, oh, like I'm a DJ. Like, DJ is my whole thing, and like it's like you kind of, it's a mix. And I think the fact that you also came as a dancer makes a big difference. But just wanted to point that out. But just for you, like, what's your point of view as a DJ? What do you think? What are some things that people don't notice about you that maybe you want other people to know about? Like, what is it about a DJ that... You guys help me out. I'm trying to like... Does that make sense, or am I...
Yeah, I'm following you. That like kind of like behind the scenes, maybe.
There you go, behind the scenes of a DJ.
And we touched on it a bit. You know what I mean? Like how many hours you spend. You know what I mean? I spend a few hours.
Because I don't think I recorded that.
Yeah. So, you know, people don't see that I stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes, or later. You know, downloading music and trying to bring everything that's fresh. for our community. In fact, what was at our event at the Phoenix Art Museum, I was playing new songs that I'm sure nobody's even heard yet, and nobody knew it.
And they were amazing too.
And they're like, you guys are just vibing. You guys are just dancing, but it's dope. And it's dope to be able to like just slide that in there, like, let's see if anybody, you know what I mean? Most of the time, nobody notices.
But that's good though, right?
Yeah,
like,
I
in a
guess.
way, like because it's good, like it's not noticeable in a way because like everybody's enjoying themselves.
If it was bad, everybody would notice.
Everybody notice.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like it's like they like the only way you get feedback is if it's negative,
It's seamless.
Right, right. And it's dope. It's always great to stay on top of that music. But what I also like to do is I like to incorporate older songs too, because some people are fresh to the scene. So a song that came out 10 years ago, they've never
It's
heard
gonna be
it.
new to them.
It's new to them. It's new to them, you know what I mean? So I try to incorporate a lot of the older stuff in with the new stuff and kind of find that balance sometimes, you know what I mean? Or not sometimes, but all the time. That's one thing where I'm like, okay, this song's old, but this song's fresh, you know what I mean? And I kind of jump back and forth throughout the night based on the vibe that I'm getting from everybody. Sometimes I'll finish the night with old music. Sometimes I'll finish with the newest music, or sometimes I'll finish with something in between. And then again, it's just kind of gauging the vibe off of everybody. I played songs and I've cleared the dance floor. Has it happened often? No, but I can remember 2 times specifically where I was like, dropped 2 songs and I was like, everybody was off. There was maybe like 5 people dancing and they weren't even dancing bachata. I think they were over there twerking or something like that. You know what I mean? And the reason why I played that song is because we got these artists that are pushing the envelope with the bachata music, and it's changing. The urban style, it's just the music's getting different. It's getting different, but it's still bachata, right? But of course, it's urban bachata, right? And sometimes people can't distinguish, like, is this bachata? You know, and you're listening to it, like, it kind of sounds like a club song, like, and that's why you got people out there twerking, you know what I mean? Because they're like, it sounds like a banger, you know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to just go off the chain. So that's what happened too. So, but I played it. It was bad, and so I threw that in the bag where I was like, okay, this maybe later. I didn't put it away forever, but you know, as we evolve in our community as dancers, listening to music and all that stuff, especially me as a DJ, I gotta stay on top of those trends. You know what I mean? Because one day I might throw it back on and everybody's gonna be like, oh man, why haven't you played that song? I'm like, I did.
You fucking asshole, didn't want to listen.
Y'all didn't like it. You don't like it a year ago.
Yeah.
But y'all evolved, so here you go.
That's
Cool.
what I was gonna say. It's like I was gonna say, like now that I've listened, I've been so like focused on bachata and salsa that like I went to like the Zouk event and I was still able to like kind of make the connection, like, oh, like there's bachata in this. In a way, like obviously there's not bachata in it intentionally, but the beats, you know, find that beat. So like you're putting a song, the music is evolving. There's almost like a different feeling, but it's still bachata. Sometimes maybe in that venue, like the people just don't have the ear to like find that. You know what I mean? And that's just something that's interesting to think about because, I mean, would you say that like in different venues there's also like different, like you said, that we're growing and that there's different people listen to the music differently?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's I mean, people hear it differently. It speaks to everybody differently. I mean, and it's expressed in the dance floor differently. You got how many people that go to classes, right? And they learn the same thing. But when you get out there and you're cut loose and you're listening to the music, everybody has a completely different way of expressing themselves, right? No matter what. You got your fundamentals, you got your basics, but then you got your own flavor. You have it, and so do I, and everybody does, and that's the beautiful thing about it. You know what I mean? It's just you're out there expressing it, right? Yeah. And then the cool thing about dance, just in general, dance is dance. It's musicality. Musicality is one of the biggest components of it, right? Musicality is what actually helps me with DJing too. It's a huge part. It's a huge part of every style of dance. Musicality, how you move. When you see dancers, and 2 dancers in particular, and they're killing it, and you're like, man, they just have a connection like no other, and that's what I want to dance like. It's because they understand the musicality together, and they understand each other. You know what I mean? And it just, bam, it just hits, and it's just like, when I see two dancers that just kill it on the dance floor and their connection is dope and the song is a banger, I literally get the chills. I get the chills down my spine. I'm like, ooh, man, like that is fire. And I'm like, damn. Right away, if I don't have that song, I'm downloading that song. Just because the way I saw them dance to it. It's like, okay. They're pushing the envelope. We're always pushing the envelope. And it kind of just is cool to see it with the new music. You know what I mean? Like, it's just dope. It's just dope. And I just watch a lot of the professionals too. A lot of the times you can find new music because they're putting something out that's choreographed to it. If you find it on YouTube, you see a lot of them, you know. Ataca La Mana, you see Abdeli Leti, who are my favorite ones that I kind of watch more consistently right now. Their style is out of this world. It's crazy. Their choreography is insane. Like, I'm like, dang, I wish I could do that. You know, the flexibility, you know, all this crazy stuff that they do, but it's just fire. It's dope. Their connection's amazing. They just put in the work, you know. So that's dope.
We were talking about earlier about how you kind of like work 12 hours, and I don't know if you want to put this out there, like I don't know how you want to do it, but I just want to like talk about the fact that it's like you dedicate a lot of time like outside of you were working like 12 hours, and on top of that you're still putting more time into this, and like I think sometimes like DJs are underappreciated when like you have like a full-time job and then you still got other stuff. You still have to like set up and you still have to stay up until 1 a.m. and then you got to go to work at 6 a.m. and it's like, shit, bro. Like, how does that make you feel, and what do you think about that?
You know, I don't worry too much about being appreciated or, you know, underappreciated. It's just what I love to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. It's cool to be appreciated. Don't get me wrong. Like, who doesn't love to be appreciated? You know what I mean? But that's not what drives me. You know what I mean? What drives me every day is just because I love doing it. I just love to do it. Everything else that comes with it is just even better, you know, like icing and sprinkles on the cake. You know, because I love the music. I like to listen to it. I love to create a vibe. So for me, working 12 hours and coming to DJ, yeah, I'm tired. Who wouldn't be? But I get that spark of energy because I'm just like, you know, I'm here, I'm with my people, our community is dope. So that alone, like I feel that appreciation. So I don't feel unappreciated because every time I go to an event, I'm just like energized because it's just dope. Everybody's energy is dope. It's just like, you know, you're on your family. You know, we get to know each other and just like, it's dope. It's a vibe every single time.
What would be considered a good night for you? What would you consider to be a good night when you DJ? Has there been bad nights where you're like, damn, like, didn't expect that night to go like that? Not so much for socials?
I would say like a bad night would be the ones where I incorporated that new music and then people were like, oh, and then trying to recreate the vibe because it kind of dies down.
Yeah. You gotta make up for, you're like, all right, like I gotta go play like the 5 most popular songs.
Yeah, and you know what? That's how you fix it though.
Yeah.
That's how you fix it.
That's like, I thought about that. I'm like, yeah, what happens when that happens?
You gotta fix it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta fix it. You gotta create the vibe back up. You gotta pick it back up because it really does happen. In fact, you know, it's funny because I was thinking about that the other day and how hard it is to get the vibe back up sometimes. I went to a concert a few weeks back, maybe like a month ago, and this guy was in the front row, and for whatever reason, the bouncers were trying to get him out of there, right? But he was like, all the attention started grabbing on him instead of the artist, and the artist was dope.
Yeah.
And he completely killed the vibe, you know, really? where the artist cut the music and was like, bro, you gotta go, you know what I mean? You gotta get up out of here. And the guy still didn't go. They had to, you know, take him out. They had to drag his ass out.
Yeah.
And, but it killed the vibe. And that dope artist still had to try to pick it back up, and it was difficult. And you can see the crowd is different after that. Like, it completely died down. And so she was finishing off her set, and it was cool, but it killed it. Yeah. So it took the other ones kind of trying to pick it back up. But I think that changed the whole night. To be honest with you, that little incident, it was just like, and these little things that I'm just paying attention to, I guess as an entertainer, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, okay, like how impactful that moment was for everything. You know, I'm sure if something were to happen at our events, it'd probably be a similar thing, you know. But the closest thing that can be related to that
It's just
is
a song
the
choice.
song
Damn,
choice.
Just one song, huh?
Just one song.
It can't be that bad. I'm sure it's a good song. No?
You know, honestly, I like the song,
Oh.
and I could vibe to it. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna try it, give it a shot, and just go from there.
Yeah.
It didn't work yet. That's how I look at
You
it.
gotta have like a planned dance couple. It's like when you want to experiment, they just go all out, and then
Right.
people are like, "Damn, what is that song?" Like,
Yeah,
they're
I
so
love it.
amazing.
Yeah, right. Because if people see
Yeah.
dancers vibing out to the song,
Yes.
they feed off of it. You
Yeah.
feed off of it automatically. If you see two dancers
Just going off, yeah,
killing
that
it, they're
matters.
like, oh man.
Because you mentioned that actually. So last Barco, I think it was you walked out when the night ended. You talked to Jorge and Leslie, and you're like, "You guys killed it."
Oh yeah.
But like they're like, "Yeah, we did, but no one recorded." And then you're like, "Yeah, like you gotta do that again." And I think it's one of the last songs that you played where they just went off. So that was an example where
Vibing.
two people just vibed out.
Yeah, they really did. It was just cool to see that too.
Yeah.
It was cool to see them having so much fun doing it and just like loving it. You know what I mean? And that's as a DJ, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
They're saying it already. You know what I mean?
They're expressing it.
They're expressing it exactly. So it was just like, that was dope. And I like to acknowledge that too, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, man, you guys killed it. You guys were dope. That's why I had to go say something. I was like, man, you know? Not only that, I mean, they're always there. They're supportive, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. You got to show love back too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just be all like, oh, I got to take all the love all the time.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, so there's multiple things that I want to bring up, but you mentioned earlier that you don't even look for acknowledgement. I think that as a DJ, like, you know that, you know what I mean? That and I think it's like you're kind of like tuned into that where you feed off already. Like you're already like you feeling appreciated is you seeing other people appreciate what you're putting out, like through their dance, through like the vibe, just them enjoying it. So I think that's kind of big. I know there's a lot of, you know, like DJs would mention, like, you know, we don't get enough appreciation or something, but I think that that's something different about you that I've noticed, that you're just there and you really care about the community. And then another thing was you mentioned the musicality, and then the importance of like the dancers and like how you if you see two dancers kill it, and like you're like, okay, now it's almost like they showed you a different face to the song, like and yeah, so that within itself is like you appreciating or and like learning from other people in a way. So I wanted to ask you, like, how important are the dancers? Like, how important is it for like, yeah, how important are the pros or like just the dancers in general in like creating that vibe too? Like that you feel as a DJ, because you get that insight. You're like always in the back feeling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's not just, of course, when a couple kills it, it's great, right? But I touched on it at the beginning though, it's like just like their love for it. When they're smiling and laughing, whether it's a beginner or the most advanced couple, when you see people just vibing out and just feeling it like nobody's watching kind of thing, you know what I mean? And just having a good time, they're laughing and smiling, that's when it's like, okay, here's the vibe, you know what I mean? And you can I literally watch, you know what I mean? This is what I do. I play the song and I'm looking at you guys trying to, you know, get the vibe, and I'm just like, I see people smiling or I see people like, oh, either way. And that's what I feed off of, you know what I mean? But it's dope. It's dope to see beginners go in there and feel like I'm having the best time ever. And they keep coming back and they keep coming back because they're hooked, right? Because it's, you already know, dancing's a drug. Right? It's an addiction, right? For sure. And it's something great, you know. But that's really the real component, that happiness, the love for it. That's really where it's at. But yeah, I mean, of course, when you got, you know, a couple that just kills it out there, it does put a different face to it, and people see that, and it's like, okay, the possibilities, the capabilities of what something beautiful looks like, right? That's what it is. I mean, it looks just like, wow, that's what beautiful art. Like, wow, you guys killed it. Like the way you guys moved together was just amazing, you know. And that's why I spoke to it too, you know what I mean? And I try to, you know, some of the kids out there, like, I'll tell them, like, man, you killed it. You're one of my favorite dancers, you know what I mean? I don't hesitate to tell anybody anything like that. You know, I'm just like anything. Don't hold back, man. Say what you gotta say about anything. Like, you know, spread that love. Tell people when they're doing good, you know what I mean? Tell people that you like something. Tell your loved ones that you love them, right? pick up the phone and call somebody when you want to call somebody, kind of thing. Say it, speak to it, man. You know, just like you guys show your appreciation. Rube, you killed it, right? Yeah. Appreciate it. You guys said it because you felt it, not because you felt like you needed to.
So, oh yeah, going back, I know it was good that we glossed over it, but you talked about how you would take things you've learned from different types of gigs and incorporate it to social gigs. Like, can you talk about the different types of gigs you do and like what the differences are and what you like, what you don't like about each of them? I don't know.
So incorporating different things, my things in particular that I like to incorporate is that's different for the social dance community compared to like weddings and all that, is a simple thing like just my subwoofer. A lot of DJs don't incorporate it, right? Okay. And you can just have your highs and your mids, and it sounds pretty good. But again, feeling it in your soul is a different thing when you're dancing. Right. So that subwoofer component, just something so small and simple, incorporating it into our socials changes it. The sound, the quality, how you dance to it, how you feel the music changes completely versus just using two speakers. Professionalism out there doing these different events and incorporating it into what I'm doing here. Trying to think of what else. Just trial and error. You know, there's like those little mishaps where I'm just like, hey, you know, reaching out to my mentors and like, bro, what's up with this? I don't know what's going on. I don't want to mess up this set. And, you know, learning that and incorporating like, I'm not going to do this. This is what I need to do. Little pieces of equipment as I go, you know, as I went along. I started off with a handheld mic. For our social events, for our teaching, we need a headset. Not that we necessarily need it, but it's a lot more convenient, right, for the instructors. Having things like that as a DJ, you know, being prepared for the social events, especially specifically ours. Just preparation is, I think, another huge component, you know what I mean, that I've learned from the other events and just being prepared for our events that we're holding. That's just a big thing. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Trying to think of what else. Just creating the vibe. I mean, it's similar both ways. You're trying to create the vibe all night. And you're trying not to kill it.
Right.
Kill it the right way.
Yeah, that's what you want.
I mean, from all the socials I've been to where you were there, I don't think you've ever had any technical difficulties or anything that would be like, oh dang, like why'd the music stop? Like, it seems seamless so far. I mean,
so I can tell you that it has happened.
Probably didn't notice it.
But the cool thing is, you know what I mean, is that we kind of work together as best as we possibly can. When I'm doing events with other DJs, like when I'm DJing with Lawrence, you know, out of Phoenix Salsa Dance, we have a good chemistry already, and he's done it, you know, for a while. Right. He worked with F&F, so you know we kind of understand it already. You know, F&F being my mentor. And then going and working with Lawrence when they've been working together, I kind of was like almost seamless. You know, that was kind of easy. But working with other DJs, being on the same page, having Eddie Peligro, MC, and on that mic, when I'm having technical difficulties, nobody sees it. And they just think I'm just getting ready or they don't even pay attention to actually what I'm doing because, you know what I mean?
I thought he was just talking or something.
Bro, that's so smart, bro. Like,
yeah.
He's chopping it up and he's running interference, you know what I mean? Because we do make mistakes because sometimes, you know, I don't have the song ready and it's just like I was getting ready for something else and I have both songs ready for something else. Mm-hmm. And then we just made like, all right, but we're at a point now where like we know. I'm like, give him the look.
Oh, damn. Like, that's dope, dude. Yeah.
But it's just teamwork, you know what I mean?
Right.
The socials take teamwork, man.
Right.
The big events take teamwork and they take work, you know what I mean? Time setting up, communication. It's just like for them to be seamless, it takes a lot.
Right.
You know? And even as much as you think you could be on the same page, just like anything always, right? There's always some variables.
That could just happen.
Exactly. So it's cool. It's cool. He's been here, he's done it. He's a professional. And I think any professional that I've ever worked with, they can see that. and they know when to jump in already, and that's the cool part about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, you ain't ready? Cool, no problem. And you know what I mean? They're hyping you guys up, and boom, before you know it, I'm ready to go.
Right.
You know, he ran 30 seconds of interference, even less than that sometimes.
Yeah, no one even knows.
Nobody even knows.
Yeah.
And it happened. Does it happen all the time? It doesn't.
Right.
But it does. But it does happen. I mean, just like anything. But it's cool. It's cool to be on that level where you're just like, I got you. Like, you don't even got to say, I got you. Cool. As soon as he just turns around and starts talking, that tells me he's got me. You know what I mean?
But like with other gigs, like, I'm assuming you're by yourself when you're DJing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like other corporate events or weddings or whatever?
Fortunately, up until this point, I haven't had any major issues.
Right. But it's just you though? Yeah.
But then when it's just me.
Damn. Okay.
I've actually it's been on my mind kind of incorporating another person into those bigger events. Because sometimes it gets difficult, man. Sometimes I have to take a restroom break, you know what I mean?
Right,
like, you never know.
It happens.
Or I need some water or something, I can't get away. And I'm like, hey, I see somebody I know, like, could you give me a water, please? Yeah. Hook your boy
or a
up.
bucket.
Yeah. No, but everybody's, you know what I mean? Everybody's cool about it. Like, they're like, heck yeah, we got you. Or some people will buy me food. Like, super cool.
So right now, as far as entertainment is just you right now, then
just me right now, man.
Team.
I've seen you mentor some of our dancers. Yeah, they've been asking like, "Oh, what does this do?" I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I've gotten a few people that come up, and it's cool, it's dope, and I can just think of how I thought when I was like starting to get into it. And I'm just like, you got to pay it forward. You know what I mean? You got to pay it forward, and that's a blessing in itself. You know what I mean? To even have that opportunity.
I noticed that like there was an event that Candela did, the one that was over here in the park in
Goodyear?
Yeah, in Goodyear, but that you're not very like what do you call it, like the words
closed off?
No, but like you're not like selfish with your setup. You're like, you don't really, because I know a couple DJs that it's like, oh, it's like my setup is my setup, and like that they won't let anybody else touch it. But you're very like open to just being, you know, if somebody wants to learn, you're like, oh yeah, like this does that and this does that, and I think that's really cool that you're not selfish with that. Like, because I know like Eddie has DJ at some points, and then you're just like dancing on the dance floor. You guys just switch around, and it's like I see you on the dance floor, I'm like, I thought you were supposed to be up there, bro. Like,
and I think sometimes he knows that I have the itch too, and he's like, go ahead, go dance, bro. And I'm like, okay. Bye.
You take advantage of it.
See you later, buddy. have a good time out there. I'm like, kill it, bro. So I'm like, man, that doesn't bother me at all. Right. You know, Eddie's got some experience too, so you know, I mean, it's just that trust there too.
Do you hope to mentor like people eventually, or like or are you mentoring people right now, or what do you?
So I actually have a plan to mentor a couple of people here in the scene. Well, I won't say their names just yet, but
exclusive real quick.
But yeah, I mean, because you know they want it, you know what I mean. They're asking for it, you know. And I'm just like, heck yeah, it'd be my pleasure, you know what I mean. It'd be my honor to do that. I don't mind at all. I just want to help us have more opportunities here in Phoenix. You know what I mean? Like me mentoring somebody else is somebody else that can step in, somebody else that might change the game and bring something that I didn't even think of. You know what I mean? And that's cool. It's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? There's so much diversity. There's so much going on here. I think it's just an amazing thing because it helps. It makes it better for everybody, basically, right? Makes it better for everybody.
Yeah. What do you think about? I asked her earlier, but you're getting a lot of opportunity here in AZ, huh? A lot in Phoenix. Like, there's a lot of opportunity to just DJ and.
Definitely a lot of opportunities. Definitely got some projects coming up that nobody knows about yet. We're excited about it. A few things there. So just looking forward to all those opportunities. You know what I mean?
Where do you see like Phoenix, like, you know, like 5 years from now, or like, you know, because I mean you're kind of like a DJ is a really important part to like the dancing, because without you guys we don't have anything. But you know, where do you see Phoenix, you know, 5 years from now, or what do you think should be the goal for Phoenix?
I would say there's a couple goals, and I think, of course, dancer development. You know what I mean? That's an ongoing goal that, you know, you got these instructors out here. Are you talking just in general? Or
Yeah, in general, yeah. I mean,
you know, that's one of them. Pushing the envelope for the DJs, like not sticking to just one thing and just being open-minded. That in itself with that consistency allows for the change, you know what I mean? Versus someone who's just stuck in their ways and this is what I'm playing, which there are some people like that. You know, some people are just stuck like that and this is what they play. They don't want to play other stuff. They don't care about urban. They don't care about different things, you know? I think open-mindedness is like a big component to help us get to, you know, new heights in our community. I think we do a really good job, especially here in Phoenix, of like, I was just thinking of a component of like safety, you know, for our dancers. And kind of, it was brought up before, but I don't think there's too much education on it on a consistent basis where like we need to be respecting not only women, but men too, right, in our communities. And keeping our community safe, you know. And I'm just referring back to an incident that happened. I'm not even sure if it was, I think it was the beginning of this year. And I had a male kind of going after another female, like out of anger because she rejected him in the dance. I'm not even sure what those fine details were, but nonetheless, there was an inappropriate interaction at one of the social events that happened outside. But it was carried into the social event and there was a confrontation. And when I had already asked this person to leave, they decided to kind of make a beeline for, you know, one of the females that was, and, you know, just to kind of like tell her, get whatever he had on his mind off his chest. But he did it kind of in a way, he did it in a way, not kind of in a way, he did it in a way where it was confrontational and the girl got scared. So I think for the future, we need to educate that that's not going to be tolerated, you know what I mean? And kind of not let that slip out and just say something when it happens, but kind of do something preventative so people are aware, like, hey, you come over here and act up, you're not going to be allowed back into our social events, you know what I mean? Making the community aware every once in a while. Maybe I was even thinking maybe I should just post it more consistently, once a month, you know what I mean? To remind people, hey, friendly reminder, have respect when you're out there on the dance floor, just dance floor etiquette. You know, and that's one component, just, you know, like if somebody tells a lead no, to just be like, oh, thank you anyways, you know what I mean? And on to the next one.
happens a lot, bro.
It happens, right?
Yeah. It's a part of it. So.
I was thinking of that incident at the Deuce, the one time I didn't show up, and I don't know if you heard about it, Ruben.
I did, kind of heard about it, but it wasn't even somebody that was related to our community, though. That's what I heard.
Really? Okay. Because it was an actual, like, physical altercation. Yeah. I don't think any of us were here. The one time I didn't want to go, and I think Leslie, I'm just name dropping whatever. I won't mention the person, but she's like, yeah, you missed it. Like, it was like a fight yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, like, I should have gotten no. But yeah, it's just, it rarely happens, but I think, like you said, just having a friendly reminder for those that are not aware of how to treat people, I think that does help because it's easy to, like, again, 99% of the time, everyone's having a great time and we're all friends and it's all great. But again, do we know the new person, or we would hate to have a lead do that to your follower, or like vice versa or whatever, you know, like we're just here for dance. So all that needs to be, if that person comes back, they need to just be there for the vibes, and then whatever personal issues, they take it with them or deal with it a different time. But that's not the place to do it. Yeah. If it seems more personal, but I don't know the person, so.
Yeah, and in fact, I all I heard was that they weren't regular.
They weren't even regulars.
Regular, you know, or people from our regular community, you know, that we see on a consistent basis.
We'd know.
I think it was kind of like some people from, I don't even know if they were out of town or not, but
they just stopped by and
they're belligerent. And that's kind of the thing that we've been really good in our community. Like those kind of people just weed themselves out.
They do. They
naturally.
You notice them so quick.
For the most part, they're naturally, because they're not out there I mean, we work hard. You know, the majority of people that go in there, they've put in the hours, the time, the effort. Just like I look at music, they're putting the time, the hours, the effort into their dancing and you know, trying to get better at their craft and doing what they love. And then you got this person that's just coming in and, you know, fresh off the street, like, oh, it's a party, you know what I mean? There's girls and I'm, you know, belligerently drunk. And, you know, as a DJ, I keep an eye out for that. Automatically, I'm like, okay, I don't recognize this person. How are they acting? They're just there. They're just watching. I haven't seen them dance one time. I'm keeping my eye on them, and I do that. I'm naturally just from my background too. I was a bouncer for I don't know how many years.
Right.
So looking for that,
So
it's just
easy
like
for you.
I'm just like, oh, okay, this person, right away. I got a good eye for that stuff. But other than that one incident, I can't think of another time where I've actually had to ask somebody to leave and never come back.
There's always one person though.
Yeah, I mean,
it's always any venue.
I'm curious, like, what's like your background? Like, what would you like be like? Oh, these are the things. Like, this guy's like acting weird. Like, I gotta.
Oh yeah, like what would be like a telltale sign of like, okay, this person's like might be up to something, like for people who are unaware of it, you know.
Antisocial at a social, you know what I mean? Like they're just there, and you know nobody really knows who they are. And I mean, if they're intoxicated, you know what I mean? Because like I'm sure you guys know, if you guys go to another event, you're trying to communicate with other people from other dance communities. You know, you're trying to get to know them. You know what I mean? You kind of have that confidence already, where you're like, hey, what's up? You know, how you doing? You know, I'm so-and-so, I'm from Phoenix, you know, I'm out here, what's up? You just to a random person, whereas another person, they're kind of like standoffish. They're not really trying to get to know anybody. They're just checking out the girls, or the girls are just checking out the guys, you know what I mean? And that's all they're kind of there for. And you see them just eyeing everybody, you know what I mean? Those are kind of like, boom, right away. It's like, okay, they're watching everybody, I'm watching them. You know what I mean? Like, and you could tell the difference versus they're enjoying the dances that are, you know, taking place in front of them versus
just like staring at them.
Just staring at them, you know what I mean? Okay. I mean, you got some groups, you know, I mean, they roll with their boys and they're just there and they're looking for the hookup, like if this is club downtown or, you know what I mean, or one of those other ones down there, you know what I mean? And it's not, you know what I mean? It's not, and that's one thing that like I love about like the dance communities throughout the world. Is, you know what I mean, they're not like that, you know what I mean? That's not that it can't happen, you know what I mean? Because this is the real world, but it's okay if two people, you know what I mean, if they have a connection on the dance floor and they, you know, want to date each other or whatever, well, but versus somebody else coming in and that's what they're trying to push on and, you know, harassing our people from our community, then beat it, buddy. You're getting booted, you know what I mean?
For sure. And like I noticed, like, for example, I remember last year at the Deuce, a separate instance where, I don't know, the dude was definitely intoxicated, but he was trying to be friendly, but he was very like standoffish, but he attempted to like talk to people. And even because he was new, and not that he did anything wrong, because he was new and he's kind of, people were unsure of him. Word got around the social really quick, like, hey, like that guy's like hammered, like does anyone know him? And then eventually everyone knew, and that was just, I think that's the pros of our dance community, where inadvertently like people do notice, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They do. I mean, and that's usually when they'll come in too. You know what I mean? There's somebody that's just super drunk and they're just looking for a good time, like, you know what I mean? Right. I mean, doesn't mean we gotta be mean to them either, you know what I mean? Because who knows, you know what I mean? That might be a person that needs the medicine as much as we do, you know what I mean? That's another thing to keep in mind. It's not to not be friendly, but just to keep an eye on them.
You're just wary.
Yeah, exactly, just wary, you know what I mean? But it's important, and that's cool. That's great, you know what I mean? That's a perfect example of why the community is so dope, you know what I mean? Because we do things like that, and we look out for each other, you know what I mean? Right. And we want to make it safe, and we want to make it fun always, you know what I mean, 100% of the time. And that will mess it up, you know what I mean? That can mess up somebody's fun. You know, that incident that I was telling you about, that girl was terrified.
She might never come back, you know what I mean? Like,
you know what I mean? And I was just like, you know, and she's petite, little, and this guy's big, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you know what I mean? And there's another part too, is it's like, I have to separate my professions because I do have that background as a bouncer. So my initial reaction was to tackle this guy and take him out the door. You know what I mean? But I was like, wait, this is a different atmosphere. I got to keep my composure in a different way and be professional in a different way, because as a bouncer, that's professional. Kick him out the club and take him out. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get paid to do that, you know, in a professional way.
Sure.
This one, you got to be a little bit more chill.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm sure if I would have tackled that, the girls there wouldn't have been like, oh, you know, they probably would have been like scared. You know what I mean? Like they would have been freaked out. Like, oh my gosh,
every time.
This DJ's crazy. You know what I mean? DJ Bug Rube. This ain't the UFC. This ain't the UFC.
Yeah. I mean, man. If it escalated and like, I know it happened at Dave & Buster's where, again, this was last year. Man, last summer was wild. That was my first introduction to social dancing. I met so many different characters, but yeah, I remember the DJ there. Some guy was drunk. You know how Dave & Buster's, they have like a bottom floor where it's just like the general non-dancing population. Every once in a while they'll come up and just like act fool. But yeah, the DJ stopped the music. He's like, you need to leave. Or if not, we're just going to stand here and stare at each other.
Yeah.
And literally the whole floor is just staring at him until the dude was like so like awkward. Like, yeah, he was so creeped out. He was just like, okay, I got to leave. But it was one instance where it got that bad. But that's one way to do it without... Yeah. I know that would kill the mood, but at the same time, I think everyone would understand. They're like,
oh, I'm sure.
Ruben's doing it for a reason.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. It's so funny that you bring that up because one of my mentors, because we had conversations about that, about how do you get people to stop or leave, and that was one of the things that he did.
Yeah, because everyone's gonna be on his ass now. Like, hey, thanks for ruining it for us. Like,
well, it was a family function. It was a private party, but it was a family function, like a backyard kind of deal.
Yeah, someone came through.
That my mentor was talking about, and he said that he had one guy that was just like harassing him, like to play a song. He had a request, and the guy was belligerent already. He was super drunk, and that he was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. Put it, and he just was like,
leave.
Pointed the finger right at the dude, and like he's there with this. I think it was his family, and his own family ended up putting him in check. You know what I mean? It was just like, hey, like stop already. You know what I mean? He was like, I'm not gonna play for you guys anymore unless you guys either he leaves or I leave. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So they took care of it. You know what I mean? But that was one of the ways. So that's kind of funny that you told me that, because boom, one of the things that I can't remember everything, but that's cool. That's cool to have me remind me of that.
Yeah, and that we could spin it in a way where like that's to bring awareness to the DJs themselves. Like if someone pesters you, it's just like, man, like you're getting paid for this, or maybe sometimes you're doing it for free, whatever. It's just like you're there for a service. The last thing you would hate is just someone just pestering you.
How do you usually take it when like somebody asks for a request? Do you like take it like nicely, or do you just like, I'll play it if I do, and if I don't, I don't?
Yeah. No. So sometimes I just don't have the music. As much music as I do have, there are certain songs where I'm like, you know what? I'll look, and because sometimes I don't even know what I have. Sometimes because I have so many songs, and I have to sift through it. You know what I mean? And look for it. But sometimes I don't have it. But I'm happy to take requests. What I do though with the requests, because some people are like, oh, they're waiting right there expecting to hear it the next set. Like, oh, I'm waiting for my next bachata one. If it fits, I'll play it the next one. But if it doesn't, I'll think about how to incorporate it into the next set of bachata songs that I'm gonna play. Yeah, that's how I handle those situations. But yeah, I don't mind taking requests because in all actuality, it helps me out because there's different tastes, there's different flavor. It educates me. You know what I mean? I'm excited. I'm like, oh man, I didn't even know that song. That's dope. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it. It's cool to be honest. You know what I mean? I think some DJs are like, oh, like I know. You know, like don't ask me for a song request because, I know it all. And I'm just like, well, I don't. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you're helping me out too. So I don't mind at all. I actually just had a request and I felt bad because I thought I had the song. I was like, oh yeah, what I didn't do is I didn't set it up into my DJ software. I had the song, but I was looking for it, and I just could not find it for whatever reason. And I felt bad, and I thought the guy was like, oh, this guy's a jerk. You know what I mean? Like, he was just shunning me off, and it was just one of those instances where I was just like, no, like, man, I would love to play the song for you. I actually thought it was a dope song. I just couldn't find it, and I was like, man, if you're out there, my bad, bro.
Yeah, I'll get you next time.
Yeah, I felt bad, you know what I mean? But I was just like, what am I gonna do?
Right.
You know what I mean? What am I gonna do? It's hard to please everybody, but it's fun. It's challenging. Like I said, it's Tetris the whole time. You know what I mean? But it's definitely rewarding. You know, to see everybody having a great time and vibing out. So definitely take those requests. Don't shy away from that. Yeah, for sure.
How do you usually prepare for like your set? Because I mean, it's not like you just go in blindly to like to dance to like a dancing event, but like how do you prepare for an event? Like, and how do you cater to like every different one? Because you're not gonna prepare the same way for like the Phoenix Art Museum as you would to Barcoa. So like, what's your process?
Right. That's a great question, and that's actually something that's kind of difficult, and I'll tell you why. Because so nasty, right? Bachata music is sensual, but
Okay, I get it.
family-friendly events, right?
Yeah.
You got a little 5-year-old, 12-year-olds that. Those are the things that you need to be mindful as a DJ, to be playing the music that is appropriate, PG-13 at worst, you know what I mean? So those are the barriers that I have, the hurdles that I have to overcome at doing those type of events that are community friendly, versus, we have 21 plus older adults.
Yeah, then it's on.
And we're letting it roll out, you know what I mean? We're letting it roll out, Romeo Santos, man.
Yeah, he was
Killing the game, but
man.
oh man, you don't want to play it at the
all ages event.
The all ages event for sure.
with the kiddos performing, like.
And you know what? I did it. I'll be honest with you. It happened, and I was like, and Eddie was like, bro. And I was like, oh no! And I was over there trying to replace the song, and I'm over there like,
the song's over.
I was like, oh, oops.
Yeah.
But you go that deep though, like, 'cause, and I'm guessing not a lot of DJs will like be intentional about like, oh, like I'm gonna take out like all like the.
And you know what? I haven't been to an event myself where another DJ was out there in the community like that, so I couldn't tell you if they're really paying attention to it. But I would say this, for all the DJs that are out there, they need to be aware of that.
Right.
They need to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the music has very vulgar, explicit,
like double meaning that you.
explicit lyrics, you know what I mean?
know.
That we don't even pay attention to most of the time.
If you see someone's kid twerking, you're like, oh man, time to turn off the song.
I usually listen to like traditional music, and like even like traditional music like has some stuff that it's like I would probably not play this like at a family event.
And you got to be mindful of that, because you're like, man, I love this song, but then when you really have to stop and think about it, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, let me.
Not this one. Yeah, so the event that we just did, the Phoenix Art Museum, that was a whole thing right there. Be mindful of that preparation. Preparation is key, right? With DJing, prepping those files, getting that going. When I do my research for new music, I'll create a new file. So I can dip into that and incorporate it into everything else that I got. Trying to kill the monotony of DJing, hearing the same songs over and over and over again. A lot of people like to hear the same songs over and over again, which is cool. And it's trying to find that balance of incorporating the new stuff, the old stuff again, that painting that picture, and then be able to sift through it to make perfection. You never get perfect, but that's what you're striving for, you know what I mean? Or at least I am when I'm trying to DJ. I'm like, okay, that vibe, that flow. I'll play 2 real twangy songs. They might not even be traditional songs, but they sound traditional-ish, and I'll play them back to back because they have a similar vibe. That's a good example of it right there. They might be a little bit more urban, like Mayambito. Mayambito plays, his style is urban with the traditional vibe. It has a real twanginess, you know what I mean? And playing a song like from him with incorporating another song that's real twangy too, it's like, oh, okay. And it has that same emotion, that same vibe, that same like almost the same art that you put on the song before, you can kind of display it and it creates momentum.
Right.
And you don't even know it.
Right.
And you don't even know it. And that's the cool part.
Does it ever get to a point where,
Mesmerized.
like, making your playlist, I know that you really put time into preparing for it. Does it ever get to a point where does it get, like, monotonous, like you said, or repetitive every time you set up, or not really? In terms of, like, the music set list and all that?
No, because I kind of prepare that way and the way I'm thinking about it, I'm always incorporating stuff new, old, medium, creating a different flow at the beginning, creating a different flow at the end, the middle. Like everything kind of changes each set that I do. And I try to bring something a little bit different. I'll have some nights where I'm like, you know what, tonight is gonna be more of a chill night, like more, not so up tempo, and then the other night I'll have it more up tempo. Like you're feeling like you're in the club, they're like, this is bachata, like, and this is bangers, and you're just like boom, 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 all night long, you know what I mean? With the salsa too, it's just like, it's a different energy, a different vibe. But you can create a good vibe and keep it more, I guess, sensual, slower, and still create a good vibe throughout the night without it not being super high energy like what the urbans that you kind of throw out there the whole time. Right. But people feel, you got to find the right songs where people are like, oh yeah, I just love these songs. These are like old school bachata songs, but they just flow and they're just dope. Like everybody loves those, you know what I mean? Those familiar ones too. And then incorporating some new ones that are in there and dropping those into it too.
Right.
That are just mellow. So it's just different. Some nights I do it like that. Some nights I do both, or one or the other.
Are there nights where like everyone just goes crazy over like a certain set list where the energy is like super high?
Yeah, and I'll hear it at the end of the night. You know, people are like, Rube, that was dope. You know what I mean? Like all night long, like at the end of the night anyway. They'll just be like, or they're pointing at me like, damn, that's my shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And they're just super hyped up. Their energy is good. People tend to stick around too when it's a dope night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're just high off the energy. Yeah.
They're just chilling. They're just like enjoying it, and it's just one of those nights. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to gauge it. You know what I mean? On the dance floor, after, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I could personally attest to it where again, going back to last week was like really good. This Friday was amazing, by the way, but yeah, last Friday I tried leaving early like 5 or 6 times, and as I walk out, someone's like, this is my song, do you want to dance? And I'm just like, okay, sure. And just leaving an hour early ended up meaning me being like staying there till closing. But no, you're an amazing DJ, so yeah.
Thanks. I got to put in that work just like anything, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm excited to just learn like so much more. Right. I guess I'm not even nowhere where I see myself. Right. So like to think of where I'm at now and where I got to go, it's exciting, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, like I've heard people say, you know, enjoy the process. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The struggles, everything, you got to enjoy it. And I'm just soaking it in, embracing it, just loving it, you know, loving the DJ. But like I said, I don't know if I talked this earlier, but a big thing for me right now is kind of taking a step back and just getting to know our community members, you know, as a DJ. I mean, because it's us, you know what I mean? Without you, there's no me, and vice versa, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And all the DJs and everybody, the instructors, everybody together. I mean, it's all like a cohesive community, you know what I mean? We need each other. Right. So just taking that time to just get to know everybody has just been a big deal for me.
Right, yeah, definitely. Yeah, because you're a staple of the community, so like, yeah, it'd feel weird if you weren't there. Unless the DJ was like really good. I mean, the other DJs, they're amazing too. So I'm not saying anything, but yeah, it would just feel weird if like you weren't there physically or like not even recognized. That's a foreign concept for I think a lot of people. I was gonna ask too, like because you're so heavy on salsa and bachata, do you ever do other gigs where it's just like not Latin music, and do you think that would help, you know, expand your music horizon or taste or? you know?
Yeah, and I've had those events already where it's not real Latin heavy, where they're different, you know, and it's fun. Of course, yeah, doing those type of events, you know, broadening my horizons and my capabilities with different types of events that I can do, which is cool. I love that too, but I really love what I'm doing over here with the salsa and bachata, you know, the social dancing in our community. That's really where my heart's at, you know, even though I enjoy that other stuff. And of course, you know, it does, you know, broaden my horizons, but this is my niche, you know what I mean? This is my niche right here. Like, this is where I like to be.
Have you had, oh, sorry.
No, yeah, and this is why I did it in the first place, you know what I mean? That's what got me into it, and just kind of branched out that way.
Have you had the opportunity to go to like a congress and stuff like that to like DJ there, or no? Is that one of like something that you want to like work towards, or like what do you think about that?
Yes, I'll say yes in the sense that I've had people come and ask me to do events, you know, out of state already, but that's not my goal. My goal is just right here in Phoenix and just kind of, again, perfecting my craft, just getting better all the time for what we got going on here. You know, now if congresses, you know, other event organizers reached out to me and, you know, they want to collaborate, that's awesome. It's great. But that's not my goal. I'm kind of just, I'm happy with our community.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, and what we got going on here, and just I'm staying focused on that right now. That's really where I'm at with it.
Do you plan?
Go ahead.
Do you plan on doing socials? Like I know you did one like 2 weeks ago, right? That was mainly you. Do you plan on doing? You love the community. I could see you just doing your own social. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would love to do it on a consistent basis. It's just, you know, working with the other organizers too, you know what I mean, to make sure we can, you know, balance everything. I think when I threw that one, there wasn't one that was going to happen that weekend. Yeah. So I would like to see our community have a consistent place. You know, that I think that's one of my goals right now, to see that happen.
For Saturdays, right? You're saying?
For Saturdays, and it's just difficult. It's not as easy as we would hope it would be, right?
Why is it difficult?
And you know what? Honestly, the biggest barrier that I've seen, and this is just throwing social events in Yuma and now out here in Phoenix, is the venue. Venues are just hard to come by, reasonably hard to come by.
Especially because it's Saturday, like venues are like they already got their own thing going, right?
Right, and not that we don't like to drink. Our community likes to drink, but
we don't drink like clubs.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I'm prideful about this because it's just like, you know, our community, they don't need to drink to have fun. Yeah. They drink because they do enjoy it, and they do. I think for the most part, they're pretty responsible. You know, where you go to another club and everybody's just trash and they're kicking people out and there's no limit as long as they just keep spending, right? Well, there comes the issue with these venues is that they want drinkers in there. You know? Big shout out to Barcoa for holding us down, because I don't think, you know, our community goes out and, you know, buys out the bar every night. But, you know, they support us nonetheless. And that's huge for us. You know what I mean? We have a consistent place that we can go on Tuesdays, and that's amazing. You know what I mean?
Do you know, can you speak, because I know we've had some conversations.
We had some conversations with like Barcoa owners, and something we got in the works trying to like get that set up. But yeah, like I think when I talked to them, they were like, their main thing was like, yeah, we know that like, you know, you guys aren't drinkers, but there was I forget what his name.
David?
I think David, his last name is Ty.
David, yeah.
Tyda, yeah, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to David, and he's like, yeah, like, we know that like you guys don't drink, but I think he's seeing the opportunities that come out of the people that are in the dance community. Because like you go to dance communities, like you guys are like really crazy, like smart people. Like we talk to like some people that are engineers and like crazy stuff that they're doing outside of dance.
Yeah.
And they realize like, oh, like these are the kind of people that we want to bring in, and the dance community has it. And he was mentioning me one guy that comes to the bar, you know, when it's not on Tuesdays, he'll come in on the weekends and he'll spend money, or like he'll reach out to them. So it's like they see that there's like the goal is, it's not right here, it's right here. Big picture. There's much more than just like, okay, where's like the drinking quota.
Right.
So yeah, I think you're right. It's just, but it's still hard for bars to just be like, oh yeah, like have a night, and then like where's the money at?
Especially a Friday or a Saturday night.
Yeah.
That's most venues money makers. You know what I mean? Whether they're doing private events or they have something on a consistent basis where they just have a DJ and people are just coming in and drinking it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's where the difficult part comes in finding venues that want to take us in and have us there on a consistent basis. A lot of times we'll go and try something and it'll be great. We'll hit it out the park, but again, that component is just what they see, and they're like, oh yeah, it's cool. You packed the house.
The money's not
But
there.
yeah, the money's not there.
Honest.
So it's hard.
And the thing I see is I think that's why we want to get like the podcast out, because like long term, I think like Antonio was saying, like Barco was talking about it, the opportunity is so much bigger than just like, short term, let's make the gains. Like I know they're business and they need to make their quota, but at least for like us as the people that go, I think I see that it creates a community within Arizona, like within Phoenix. Like I think like restaurants and like these venues, they got their business and everything, but from a collaborative point of view, like it just makes everybody grow, Yeah. So like we want more venues to be happening as the awareness grows, as like the dance community grows. I think we have like a lot of power in like creating more business, creating more growth, creating more dancers, like everything. So yeah, that's why I think even like on Saturdays, like having that consistent thing would be great, even if it's just at the studio, Yeah. And then also there's like things to talk about. I was gonna ask you like, what do you like does the venue affect the dancers itself? Like does one venue have like more like a specific demographic than another? Because I know like if we go to Deuce, it's a little bit more. A lot of ASU students go. Yeah, but then like if you go to the studio, then we got more trained like dancers. Could you like speak on that a little bit, like from your experience? Do you think it's different based on the venues that you've gone to, or is it kind of like been more like consistent, like everybody's kind of like very similar?
No, I think you hit it right on the money too. Right there is just like you do go to different venues and it is gonna be different, versus the seasoned dancers that go and like they're hardcore and they're gonna stay till 2:00 in the morning and they're gonna dance their butt off, versus going to I haven't really been to the Deuce consistently enough to know, but based on what you said, if you're running to a younger crowd, maybe that they're more drinkers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or even the older crowd, or the much older crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, we know.
You got those older people that like to drink too. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's just different everywhere. I think. I don't think any place is specifically the same, and that's what makes it cool, though. You know what I mean? At the same time, every place has their own vibe to it. Yeah. The DJ brings their own vibe. The group of people that show up have their own vibe. You know what I mean? And us as dancers, we can go around and like, oh, okay, like it just feels different, whatever the atmosphere might be. But it's just there's always those little differences between each social, which I think is a great thing.
So I've talked to other event organizers, and one idea that I found that seems very innovative and new is just doing pop-ups instead of like scheduling pop-ups at different venues, because to have a dedicated place like Mihanas or something, they've been around forever, like 1,000 years, right? So the restaurant owners, they know what's going on, And I think, let's say the Deuce, for example, I think it like there's a place for everyone there. There's some people who just go there and eat and then get drinks, or just chill out and people watch. Like I'll do that too sometimes. And then there's people who strictly go there just for social dancing. They'll pay the cover and that's it. But I think having that balance where you kind of accommodate for everyone, that way you won't be relying so heavily on the dancers. Like, yeah, like you said, you'll fill out the house, but then at night, like how much money did you really make as an establishment? I think having that fine line will maybe, hopefully, help find a place for Saturday, I think. But yeah, that's what I've heard. Just pop-ups, just like doing, like organizing, like, okay, like we're building the hype up, and then one day out of the month, we're just gonna go to Old Town. Like that Old Town social, like that was fire. Like I spent a lot of money there, so I did my part. But yeah, like just that's an interesting concept where I think it could still drive like the hype and the demand for like the social dancers to go out, because a lot of social dancers don't go out to Scottsdale. They showed up in numbers, So yeah, so that's an interesting, I don't know, concept. I don't know if you thought about that or not, or
So
it helps with your brand too,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it is a great concept to do like a pop up. I think it's cool. I think it's cool because it just, again, it kills monotony, right? The same old thing. But at the same time, I think the community, the majority, like to know that they can go somewhere on a consistent basis and they can show up and there's something that's gonna be going down there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a reliable, like you're all reliable.
Yeah,
like I know I'm gonna go
definitely.
there. I know the music's gonna be fire. I know I'm gonna have a good time.
Right.
Kind of thing. Like they'd like to know that. You know what I mean? And then sometimes, of course, the major hurdles with doing the pop-ups is getting everybody informed.
Yes, because some people don't know until it's last minute or until after the event like is done. So I think that's the other challenge.
Even the
but-
socials, the socials, like people, because there's not an established like Saturday. Sometimes I'll be missing like, oh, there was a social on Saturday. I didn't know that. I think it's like a lack of I think branding in terms of like, I think Bachata Addiction is doing it well because they've already had their name. That's what they're like, shout out to Bachata Addiction. They've been doing the pop-up socials and they've had the numbers, but they have like they got like numbers. They got people's numbers. They're on they're tagging people on Instagram. Like you'll be seeing the work they do. Like they're putting in a lot of work to get the awareness, and because people aren't aware.
Yeah.
And they have that ability to do that because people know them. They know their brand and stuff. So like that's something that we've been thinking about, or like I've been like trying to like see like, okay, what is it that gets people out to social, because there's so many different demographics, so many different people that go out, like different reasons why they do it, and trying to just like get that awareness and get them out there. That's like, it's marketing, bro. Like you gotta like really play that game. You gotta really know what you're doing in that sense.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
And that's why it's important to have a good team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For that reason, because it's not easy. I know Eddie and Lawrence are both slam. You know what I mean? They're teaching, they're traveling, they're teaching abroad, and it's just like, that's a lot. Plus, you guys have your teams. You know what I mean? And then we're trying to incorporate all that, and it's just a lot to balance. I think ultimately the goal is to have that consistency, and be able to do those things. You know what I mean? And just where we can do pop-up socials and everybody be like, boom, we're there. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of moving parts, a lot of different components. But I think we're getting there.
Yeah. Do you think I was gonna ask you, like, Phoenix? Like, I know we mentioned there's a lot of opportunity for you. Like, I know you've been I've been seeing you everywhere, bro. Like, I see you everywhere. I know you're grinding. So like, do you see like Phoenix growing? And like, if you do, what do you think we need to like take it to the next level?
That's a great question. What I can think of is consistency. Finding multiple ways to reach our community. Like you said, Bachata Addiction, like their messaging, doing different things. Learning, educating ourselves, and learning how to do all those things. And you know, I'm still fresh to it myself, so I'm learning all the time, you know, not just about DJing, but also incorporating those components into it to just, you know, get the word out there and making sure that everybody can enjoy these events, you know what I mean? But it's just, I don't think it's just that easy. I think it's a learning process, and we're kind of just going through it right now. You know what I mean? At least I am. I can say for myself that, you know, I'm learning a lot, and I'm excited to learn more so we can have that consistency and have that transparency with our community where we can just post something up and, you know, the majority of people are going to know about it, and then the stragglers will get word of mouth, right? Because not everybody's on Instagram, not everybody's on Facebook, or not everybody's on social media every day. You know what I mean? I see people that take breaks and they're like, hey, I didn't even know you had a social, like you said. And, you know, they pop up the day after, and I've already been posting it for I don't know how many weeks or months, you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, yeah, it passed already. Sorry, buddy. It was last night.
Yeah, I think something as simple as a website, because literally one of our teammates, he was like, hey, I'll be in LA. Like, I know you're all over California, you're from there, like, give me all the socials. And I was like, bet. Like, I just sent him, like, luckily I follow the pages on social media, but again, even luckier, there's an actual website where they post every single social, and I don't think we have that here. And
No,
maybe we do.
No, well, this website that there's, oh crap, what is it called?
Yeah, and I just saw it too, and I can't remember if I couldn't tell you.
Latin Dance, I think, or something.
Oh, really?
Or Go Latin Dance, something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a website that like encompasses like a bunch, which shout out, is a really good website actually, because especially if you don't know a city, like use that website and like
just to like explore the city and all that. Okay.
The only issue with the website that I see is that sometimes some things aren't updated as quickly. So that's the only issue. And I mean, I get it because they're like, I think they have all of,
it's like national, bro.
Yeah, all of the U.S. like for Chicago, Phoenix, and so
we'll set up one. Well,
Yeah.
we'll do it. Like, yeah, because we'll do one strictly for Arizona.
Phoenix.
Yeah, we should.
And then post all the socials.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
Literally, like, he asked about LA, and I looked. I'm like, dude, there's like 5 socials going on today, like over there. And it's crazy.
And LA is huge, though. You know what I mean? Like that's another
but like
thing
the
too.
moment you wake up, it's like 1 p.m. to like 2 a.m. You could theoretically dance like all day.
And that's the beauty of it too. You know what I mean? That's what I love about social dancing so much, because you literally can drop in another country and find 5 spots to go dancing and just like have the time of your life, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's dope. And even though you don't have those, like, not everybody's aware of that resource, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have each other, and that's the cool thing about the community, because how many group chats are there, you know what I mean, where people have,
Too many.
right?
Yeah.
But people are like, I just saw somebody the other day.
we should, yeah.
What's that?
We should build a group chat where it's like
We just send out like, yo, today.
There is some though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for you guys in particular?
As a brand, but.
What I was gonna say is, I saw someone the other day post about, hey, I'm in Mexico City.
What are the socials?
Where are the socials?
Yeah.
How many people chimed in? You know what I mean? Like, that's so dope. Like, that's awesome.
Right.
Like, can it get much better than that for a social dancer?
If you're dedicated, you can just ask someone from the social, and they'll find someone who knows all the socials.
They're gonna send it like you did. 5 spots. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Exactly.
They're probably gonna go to all of them.
I know. I'm like missing out. Like, I'm like, damn. Like, I drive over right there right now, just dance you till like 2, and then.
Now that you mentioned that too, because like I know like there's that Facebook group chat, the one that Canela runs, the one that it's like I'll see people that will pass by Phoenix and they're like, hey, like what are the best socials, and people just start sending a bunch of chats like yeah. So I think it's really cool. Yeah, you're right. The community is like willing to help you out and just kind of like hook it up with the social, because sometimes it sucks when you don't know what's good and then you're just kind of trying to figure it out. But
yeah, even like if you're on social media often, like the way the feed refreshes, like you could post something often, but depending on what time the person logs in or what they're doing, like they could easily miss it. So I think having a dedicated website would help, where it's like actually monitored, where it's updated every week. I think that'd be cool. That way, like, it helps with like organization too. That way, like, hopefully the event organizers can like not overlap or like kind of work with each other, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be
that'd be nice, right? Yeah, that's one thing I know people kind of dance around that topic. But I like to think, maybe this is me being naive, but I like to think there's room for growth for everybody in terms of working together. And and then we mentioned Phoenix, but Mesa, the East Valley, is like a huge city or area where it's not really talked about. And I don't think, shout out to those people who live on the east side who drive all the way to Central Phoenix to Barcoa or something, because that's wild. That's like half an hour drive. I know we're spoiled with like the traffic. It's not like California, but yeah, it's a mission just to social dance. So I think just having I think a dedicated website that would help people where they know what time and what area they can like realistically go to. Because I know there's a new one in Glendale. I think, well, I don't know what the name
The
is.
bodega one. It's
Yeah,
on Wednesdays.
it's all purple,
Yeah.
like neon lights. It looks super
Yeah,
cool.
it looks pretty cool, and the space
Yeah.
looks pretty big too. So it's like also the big part of the venues. Like it's hard to find like a venue that's big enough for you to dance, because even like we'll be at Barcoa and like it's pretty tight, you know.
Yeah, no, it is.
When you're dancing, so
Yeah, but the money side too, just think about like, okay, if we rent out a big venue, like I've talked to Bachata Addiction where some venues, they're like, yeah, we want like 10 G's up front or whatever. And just like, dude, that's no joke. And I get it. It's a business. People need to run it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hard sell when you're saying, hey, we have a bunch of people, but they're not going to spend any money. they might be drinking in the parking lot too. Totally not us. No. But yeah, it's the money side is a real thing where
we've been there.
we've been there like last week. No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a huge component, man. Like,
We didn't say routed or something. It'll just be censored.
Yeah, no, it's dope.
I think just like connection, just establishing a lot of connections. I think that's what I mentioned to the rest of the team, where I think down the road, the more people we meet and the more smart individuals we collaborate with, I think there are ways around it where we can like build like crazy socials and like bigger, better ones, and not have to just be limited by like, all right, we just got to like appeal to this restaurant owner who wants like to tax the hell out of everyone, Like we had a Friday social like down the street from where I live, and I'm so happy. It was like, other than Barcoa, that was the only one that's super close to my house. Because to go to Dave & Buster's is half an hour, and I hate driving, so. But yeah, and opening night it was packed, and then it just never came back because
That's the one I DJ'd, right?
the one at Revolute.
Yeah, Revolute opening night. Yeah.
Dude, that was fire.
It was.
And I was excited because I was talking to Jose. I'm like, dude, you clear out the tables and like open up like that patio area. It was gonna be fire. And then he's like, yeah, they don't want us back. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
It's rough. Yeah, I get it.
And I mean, it looked so promising, right? I mean,
It looked super fun. That was a
for
dope
me,
spot.
I was like, this place is gonna go off every Friday.
Yeah, I could have just Ubered there and I would have spent money. I would have gone wasted. Yeah.
Ride
I
your
was
bike
hungry
over
for
there.
that. Yeah.
That's the thing too, though, right? Like, I see a lot of socials like pop up, and then they don't make it past like the second or third week, I think it's like I think it's important for people to like. I know it's hard because you said the important thing that we need to like take it up to the next level would be more learning, like learning and doing that, because I think at the end of the day also like there's a notion in the dance community that there's no money in dance. I think at least like our plan is to kind of change that notion, because now with like online and everything, people have the opportunity to like teach online, you know what I mean, reach nationally, internationally, throwing events. Like online has created that ability to connect more people, get more awareness towards social events, towards more events and all of that. So like I know it's hard just because I've like, this is a business, this is our business, and then I have my other business myself, and it's hard to, show up and not get the numbers that you're looking for. But I think that the community is here, the opportunity is here, and the people have to like know there is a process to it, to like growing that, So I think another thing that would help us out would be like learning, not only learning, but also just having that mindset, like, of wanting to enjoy the process, you know? Because I hear you talk, bro, and like the way you operate, like me seeing you from the distance compared to other DJs, like you actually want to learn, like you actually are looking into the music and you're trying to get into it, and it's a craft. It's a craft for you, and you're in it for the long game. And I think that's what like people, that's what will take you to, you know, to that next level, to like, you know, just really creating a solid, becoming a very solid like pillar for the community, and like there's love in there for you. So like people, you know, people listening, like I just think it's important to establish that mindset, you know, like for me, like I'm constantly wanting to learn to dance, like I tried out Zouk, or like I'm trying to figure out like new ways, because to dance with like my partner and at home. So like it's there. It's just people. I think us creating this is that's the goal, to like remind people like, yo, like it's here, like, you know, like there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, honestly, you guys are doing a great job. You know, you're giving everybody a voice, and it kind of touches on a lot of questions that people have. You know what I mean? For a lot of things that I think, you know, by doing this, we're giving them the answers. Maybe not everything, but as we're growing as a community, we're doing it together. You know what I mean? This is great. You get to touch on a lot of different subjects. It's dope. I mean, education, right?
Yeah.
Growth. This is what it's all about. This is why we're doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Getting better, becoming better people. You know, we're all growing together. Like you said, you got everything that all these people from all different backgrounds. You have people who are doctors, attorneys, and you know, you got people that, you know, work at Walmart. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got everybody from all walks of life, and it's just like, it's dope. It's dope. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like cool. It doesn't matter where you come from. What you do is that the love for what we do as dancers, you know what I mean, and the music all together, just meshing up, is just dope. And then the more we can contribute to make those socials and all the events better, is even better.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to drive home too. We all have our reasons to start, but I think if people just put themselves in a growth mindset where they think, you know, like, okay, I'll go out to dance. Like they're contributing to, obviously helping pay the cover for the venue or whatever, or the event organizers. But then they're contributing to like having a good time, and then meeting their friends there, or establishing new connections. Like all that, all the little things matter. And I think starting the page, that was just to bring awareness and having a platform to say what we want to say. At the same time, it helps. I feel like down the road, we'd like to be a page where we can build off of that, or anyone that can just jump on and like come up with some new idea that would benefit the scene, because the scene comprises of everyone. It's not fair to say, oh, like the scene is because of X person, or like X dance company or whatever. It's like everyone is included. The organizers who host the socials, because it'd be cool to go all the classes and then realize, all right, well, I have no one to practice with, and there were no socials. Like that would kind of suck. But then if you didn't have, you know, the dance companies to like have structure and like form of like, this is how you do a crossbody lead, this is how you do an inside turn. Without that structure, then we're just kind of winging it. It's like club downtown like light, you know, where it's like you're not too ratchet, but you kind of don't know what you're doing. And that's cool too, because there's a time and place. Like I've seen plenty of social dancers, like yesterday, the same social dancers, they go to club downtown. Like Saturday comes around, they're like, you know what? I'm not a dancer, I'm trying to turn up. That's cool. Like there's a place for everybody, yeah. You know, like that's the beautiful part. And just to even shout out Club Downtown, like we've ragged on them enough on the podcast, but I've had so much fun there. Like I yesterday or on Friday, like after the performance, like I danced with a girl from Club Downtown. Just like, I was like, this is weird seeing you not at Club Downtown. She's like, I love that place. I'm like, yeah, like I love seeing you there too. But like,
not the place.
Yeah. The place is all right. But no, like, so what Jose was saying about like, okay, like there's a lot of opportunity in the sense that like you meet all these brilliant people, and it's not just like we're not talking about status. It's just people coming together and like vibing, and organically, I think something good will come out of it, or many good things will come out of it. I don't know what, but I like to believe that that's why we're doing what we're doing. Because if not, we can just not have the podcast and just social dance every day and just leave after. You know, I felt like there was something lacking, and that feeling of lack that forced us to like, all right, let's just try having like another form of an outlet to like talk about the scene and then hopefully improve upon it, learn about more about it, and then just make it better in some way, and then connect with people.
Yeah, that to like get to know people, because I mean, like, for example, it's like I see you at every, like, I think I was thinking about it right now. It's like almost every event that I've gone so far. I don't go out social dancing that much recently, but every event that I've gone to, I think 90% of them have been when you're DJing. But it's like I don't know who you are like as a person. You know, I know that you play good music and that sometimes you eat a taco here and then like we'll chill after the event. But then that's it. So I think it's really cool just to get to know the people within the community, especially here in Phoenix. Like I think we always want to highlight like the Phoenix community and like for what it's we're up and coming. We're trying to like make it something big and trying to create a platform where we can get to know you, get to know the dancers that are here, the instructors, the organizers, the other DJs, everything. I think all that is very, very important. So, yeah, those are my two cents. But yeah, I think we're good 10, right? Do you have anything else to say? Do you want?
Oh yeah, do you have any questions for us or anything?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
Whatever you want to talk about. Nothing's off limits.
Yeah, he said it like fuck him up,
I do. I have some questions for you now. Who's your favorite DJ?
That's easy. That's DJ FNF. I'm just kidding. I don't even know the guy. DJ Rube. You know that? Yeah. Before anyone else, man. Like, yeah.
I think you're one of them, like, very well balanced DJ. That doesn't lean too far one way or the other, and it's good. And I think that's really important in a DJ. So, DJ Ruben.
Thank you, my brothers. I appreciate y'all.
I think before I actually joined the dance team, I always saw you DJ. I think I swear it was Dave & Buster's or something, and you just walked up like real slick, and you stood next to me for a while, and then like you looked over, and then I looked over. He's like, and you're like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Oh shit, you DJ." I'm like, "What are you doing on the dance floor?" Not like that, but yeah, it was just one of our very first interactions. I just remembered. Yeah, I just saw you like everywhere as a DJ, so I figured, like, even back then, I thought you were just part of the community. Well, you are, but I didn't know that. It felt like you were there for a long time in the community.
Yeah.
Like, I expected like, you would have if you told me you've been there for 10, 15 years, then
you would believe
you would have fooled me, Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I just think that's the impact or perception that I had of you, like before I even got to know you. So I don't know that goes anywhere, but I just thought I'd throw that out there.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
And it just goes for like the relationships that you build with people. You know what I mean? I established myself out here by actually, engulfing myself in the dance scene and just loving it, man. You talked about having to drive 30 minutes. I used to drive 3 hours.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I didn't think about that, right?
Yeah.
And we still got people that come over here from Tucson and
or people out of state when there's like the Oasis events. Like I've talked to so many people. They're like, yeah, we drove like the whole day from Houston or something.
Yeah.
Like, I would have stayed home. Like I would have caught the stories and like screenshotted it. I gotta stop. Edit this out. No, but yeah, like the dedication some people have, it really puts it into perspective. Where like, yeah, some people are really about there. Where they'll travel out of state. They're just like book like get a bunch of their friends and drive to go see an artist or like take a class or workshop. So yeah, like I get it that the venues like they see things different because they're not in the scene, which I understand. But the drive and the dedication dancers have for the love of dance is like no other that I've ever seen in other niche communities. So I think if we collaborate, we can we can have our cake and eat it too, or we can have like crazy socials and events, and then have everyone like thrive too. So I think just to repeat again, like collaborations, I think that'll really just make any scene grow. You know, it's you can do a lot as yourself, which is DJ Rube, but if we all help you out or like help you like, you know, break down the equipment or just like shout you out or anything, like every little thing helps, and I think it keeps you more engaged too. Just regular people who go out to dance, like just by showing up, that matters.
Oh yeah.
And having a good time, that matters too. Like, yeah, just whatever you think that people don't notice, like it plays a part, you know. So that's why I think that's really beautiful about the dance community.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And you know, as to the love that I feel, of course, yeah, part of it's, you know, the expression on the dance floor and people actually saying, hey, you know what, your set was amazing, thank you so much. But yeah, another big component where I feel appreciated is that when I'm done with the events, I actually have, you know, you guys that help me out, you know, with Eddie, you know, and his instructors right there, you know, that teach you guys. His whole squad helps me out at the end of the night. You know what I mean? They're right there, right up, like, what do you need, Big Rube? And I'm just like, you know what, whatever you can help me with, I appreciate it. And before I know it, I'm like, I'm only rolling out with my backpack and everything's in my truck already, you know what I mean?
As it should be though, yeah.
And I'm like, man, if that isn't love, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
That should be the bare minimum though. But no, like shout out to them for that. Like that's very stand up.
That's love right there, you know what I mean? Because as a DJ, it is a lot of work, you know, the setup, the breakdown, you know, that's I would say the worst part of it, you know, which isn't bothersome. It's just time consuming. You know what I mean? It's like anything. Yeah. You know, you gotta, you know, set up. You gotta break down. The fun part, of course, is you know, just the DJing and everything. So to have those extra hands, and especially when I gotta go in at work the next day very early, and it knocks off 30 minutes off my breakdown time. Yeah. Like, man, that's cool, man. That's so dope. Like,
shout out. Breakdown, bro.
Yep. Team Candela, the breakdown crew. I love y'all. Y'all know who you are.
Yeah.
Man.
You guys deserve a promotion.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No, I love them so much. You know what I mean? And for the most part, every event that I've done, even with you know, other organizers, I always get some help. You know what I mean? Which is cool. Good. Which is cool because I mean, usually when I do private events like weddings like that, no, that's
you're just
everybody's gone. You know what I mean? They're gone for the night. But
I think in the community, like I remember. I think we were at CDC and like it was Denny and Bonnie. Like they were helping you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just cool. Like, you know, like I think that just goes to show what stands out from the dance community than any other community.
Yeah. No, this is one of those components, man. All love. Yeah. All love. We're all doing it for the love of it, and it's dope.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. For us or in general.
Gotta think
man, I just want to leave.
He's ready to go.
What time can I leave? Whenever, man.
No, I'm cool. I'm having a good time, man.
That's good.
Just to close it off, you want to shout out any events that you got coming up, or also like your social media? Like, what do you want to plug in real quick? Let them know real quick.
All right, yeah. So if you're looking for events, anything that I'm DJing, please follow me at DJ Bug Rube on the gram. I'm also on Facebook under Esparza Entertainment. Boom, boom. Got a rep. These boys right here, they're killing it, man. Love y'all. Appreciate you for having me.
We'll add the links to the description too, so just in case people don't pay attention, like the links will be there.
Usually they finish before we close out. So.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys. Thank you, Rube. It has been a pleasure, and we hope to have you on again.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.